Welcome everybody to another awesome episode of Wine, Hops, and Road Stops, shot on location at the Beer Stop in West Hazleton. I'm with my good friend and co-host, Alan. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
The sun is out finally. We're getting summer for one day, I guess, right?
Yep, well, we'll be back to fall tomorrow.
I'm sure it's been a really wet spring. It's been terrible, but that's okay. We're here to talk about awesome beers, and we got some beers in front of us right now. What we got?
Well, luckily I just got back from a trip from England.
Luckily.
So I spent a couple of days there roaming around drinking beers. So we brought a London Invasion in. So I brought 7 different beers that hopefully some of you haven't tried before. And we got some good ones to try.
Some of them are familiar, some of them are not. So it's going to be the British Invasion today on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. But first, we got some big news, big booze news going on. Dogfish Head merges with the Boston Beer Company. This is huge news. The Boston Beer Company, the producers of Sam Adams, and the second largest craft brewer in the United States, is merging with Dogfish Head Craft Brewery. They are the 13th largest independent brewery as ranked by the Brewers Association. That deal is valued at $300 million. Now, is this good news or is this bad news for the craft beer world?
I think it's good news because it shows that some of the microbrew guys who Sam Adams started it all is now investing back into the beer world, and it's better than InBev buying them.
Well, of course, that's true.
So it's nice to see that, some other guys out there, hopefully they'll get better structure, better supply routes, better production numbers, so we can drink Dogfish 120 all year long.
So you're saying it's probably going to help with the distribution?
I think it is, or I hope it is, I should say.
I hope, yeah.
Yes.
Fingers crossed, because
Yes.
there's no details yet, but
No.
so it's just a bunch of craft beer lovers just saying maybe this, maybe that. We're just guessing.
Yeah.
I hope they don't do anything to the recipes.
I don't think they will. And again, Sam Adams does more seasonals than anybody else. So they're already geared towards multiple brands, multiple varieties. I don't think it's going to be a big switch, for them at the home office.
I'm optimistic, but cautious. I hope it goes well for both parties.
Well, I know that's one of your staple beers, so
One of my first loves, Dogfish Head.
we'll try it next year and then we'll know for a fact.
Definitely. Oh, that's a good idea. We'll see if it see if the recipe
We'll
changes.
age one for a year and kind of samples next to them.
Okay, I'm down with that. Next up, this just came in this morning. I have to talk about this. Brewery offered free beer as a reward for finding stolen van. The van was returned in 42 minutes. The Unknown Brewing Company posted a photo on their Facebook page about its stolen van on Monday, May 13th, and 42 minutes later, the missing truck turned up. The post on Facebook read in part, "If you stole it, bring it back. You'll also get a keg party." A woman named Caroline Faith was credited by the company with finding the van 42 minutes later, parked on a street in Charlotte, North Carolina. She posted a photo of it on Instagram as her proof, so congratulations.
Maybe we could expand this to the FBI, 10 most wanted list. If you get number 3, you'll get a small party. If you get number 1, they'll take you a limo ride to your favorite bar
There
and
you
buy
go.
you beers all night.
FBI, if you're watching, just offer free beer. You'll get those guys.
42 minutes, that's all you need.
Bang, right back. The van, it was painted. It's painted with the brewing company's logo on the side.
It's literally
a
a billboard.
42 minutes later,
Yep.
there it was. And you just, hey, free beer. So,
I can't find my car keys in 42 minutes some days.
but if I offered you free beer, would you be able to find your keys faster?
Absolutely.
So that is the news. And when we come back, we're going to sample some beers from the British Isles. That's right, it's the British Invasion here on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more and some beer tasting. Some great beers right here. I haven't tried a lot of these, so I'm pretty excited about this. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back to Wine, Hops, and Road Stops, shot on location here at the Beer Stop in Hazleton. Alan, what do we have in front of us today?
All right, well, as I said, we just got back from London, and it's a really nice drinking experience over there. A lot of the smaller cities, Windsor and that, their bars would basically sponsor one brewery. And it was breweries that I've never heard of, and they would just have everything from that selection and really nothing else, which was kind of an interesting play on things.
So it's a little bit different than what goes on here in America as far as your beer drinking experience over there.
It would almost be like a tap takeover, but they do that on just a regular basis.
Wow.
And that.
Now, what about the temperature that the beer's served at?
I didn't notice any difference, and I even talked to the one guy about it, saying room temperature or everything. Everything's cold.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, nothing was any different. You know, the whole.
they don't
I
really
think-
serve warm beer.
No, I think that's a generation ago. I don't think that really holds true for today's drinkers.
Now, you also were telling me that you were surprised that there was a lot of American beers there too.
Yes, unfortunately, and I apologize to the English people, Budweiser is the #1 selling beer in England, which I was amazed at. And number 2 is Heineken, and then I think it's Stella Artois. So you're really, when you went into a lot of the beer bars in London, you were just getting Stella, Heineken, you know, and it just, I was like, well, where's this? Where's that? You know, so it took a little maneuvering around to a couple of different pubs, which I didn't mind, you know, to actually find some nice. I was always looking for Fuller's beer, which always was my favorite one that I've had here. I got to have it on tap over there, and it's still my favorite English beer.
So you had to do a little searching.
Absolutely, yeah. And I was in Covent Garden. I mean, there was 15 pubs within 3 blocks, so it's not like I had to go very far.
England has had a long history of beer brewing. You know, beer in England has been brewed for hundreds of years.
Yep.
English beer styles, including the bitter, mild, brown ale, old ale, and of course, it was also the birthplace of India Pale Ale. Now, you said that wasn't hugely popular.
I was surprised at the bars, even when they had a good selection of English beers, IPAs typically was not on the menu.
Wow.
Yeah, there were a lot of browns, but mostly they're just the English ales. That was their #1 style. They'd have 3 or 4 variants of an English ale, and then, you know, 1 or 2 other things.
So, and the IPA did originate though in England.
Yes.
And I know it's a hugely, well, I love it. It's a hugely popular thing here.
Yes, the #1 style in America
Yeah.
for microbrewers.
But not so much, I guess, over there.
Not so much. They did have them every now and then. I would find one, but usually it was paired with fruit. Grapefruit IPA or a mango IPA or something else. So I guess they're just not into the super hops like we are here.
So, moving on into what we have here, we're not going to see a lot of extra hopped,
No.
dry hopped like crazy beers right here.
No, most of these are going to be in your subtle levels. But then we do have a IPA as well.
Wow.
And that,
okay.
which I was not even able to find Hobgoblin, even though we've had it on the show before,
okay.
and it's a regular beer. I couldn't find Hobgoblin in the 30 bars that I went to.
Wow.
And I tried.
And you tried. Good boy here.
Here's another one that I couldn't find anywhere in England. Boddington's.
Wow. And that's
I
where
know.
we'll start, right?
I would have assumed that would have been everywhere on tap. I did not find it anywhere. Did not have one glass of this over there.
Now, this guy is your average run-of-the-mill pub ale, correct?
I would think so, yes. But maybe that's the American version of what we think a pub ale should be.
Okay, well,
So, now this is a nitro can. So again, you get that distinctive nitro
right. but
carbonation.
I can tell a Boddington's pub ale when I have it.
Yes.
You know, it has a distinct taste to it. And whenever I have a drink like this, I always think, if I do get to England,
Boy, I'd really like to have one.
yeah, I would like to sit down and this is what I would be drinking.
Yeah.
I guess if I get there,
I know.
won't be able to find it.
I kind of thought the same thing. And now, granted, I could have been in a little bit of a tourist area. We're down, you know, in the downtown area. But like I said, I walked all over the place, and every time I passed by a bar, I stopped in and had a beer. They also don't have beer flights over there, which I was surprised at.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. I asked the one waitress for it, and she didn't know what they were. And I said, well, it's just small samples. She didn't know, so I said, grab those water glasses over there, pour me out a little of each. And she actually just thought I was trying to get free beer. So she didn't charge me anything. I gave her a big tip, and she was happy.
Oh, good. Well, at least you tipped her well. Good.
Yeah.
Always tip your bartenders.
Yes. Next is Fuller's Company. This is my favorite brewery that I've had here. And I had a few styles over there, and they were all excellent. This is their London Pride.
While you were in England, you had London Pride at the oldest restaurant in London.
I believe it's been around since 1652, which is pretty old.
Yeah, to say the least.
They actually have a plaque with every owner's name on it. And basically, so it just kind of continues through the ages.
That's really, really cool. You said it's
Yeah.
all like crushed velvet and stuff.
Crushed velvet on the walls, on the tables. They only took tables of 6 or less. If anything more than that, you had to pay them another $1,000, and that would give you a private room, plus the meal.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
I'm
that was
there.
But it was a fantastic meal. You know,
And you got to have London Pride.
and London Pride was on tap, which I was thrilled with. You know, I asked them what beers they have on tap, and they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we only have one London Pride." I said, "That's the one."
There you go.
It was our first night in London, so I crossed off the main thing I wanted, London Pride on tap. right away.
It's not real big. It's average for your pale ale.
No. Now, there's almost a little like ruby tones to it.
Yeah.
Almost kind of like what we would almost consider into the amber category. Kind of an amber / pale ale.
Nice finish at the end. Like
Yeah.
the pale ale type of finish at the end, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but it's still, even for a pale ale coming out of the microbrew world in America, it's lacking the extreme hops that we put in.
Yeah. Yeah, there's really subtle hop taste to it. It's good though. I do like it.
Yep. Next one, same company. This is their ESB, especially strong brew. A little bit higher in alcohol, 5.9%.
So the difference between these two, the ESB to the pale ale, what would be the difference?
Not much. I mean, it's basically just especially strong brew, so it's a little bit more alcohol, a little bit more body to the beer.
You can taste that, yeah. There's a lot more body there.
Yep.
You're absolutely right.
Yep.
The finish, there's more of a finish, I'll say. There's stronger of a finish.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is a good beer. Wow, I've never had this before. This is really good.
Yeah, this is the first time I've had it in bottles over here. It was kind of tough for me to find, quite frankly.
Next up on the British Invasion list, we have,
Is the Scottish Ale Skull Splitter.
ooh,
Yes. Nice Viking on the front.
yeah, you
You know, 5,000 years in the making.
Now this is a Scotch ale, so we're gonna have a little bit of taste of Scotch in it, I'm assuming.
A little bit, and you can almost smell that little like alcohol flavor.
Yeah, it has a nice nose to it. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Scotch ales,
I'm not either, quite frankly.
but this is turning me around a little bit. This isn't bad. This is
It's not overwhelming.
right.
You
The Scotch ale taste is a little bit more subdued than I'm used to.
And I think that's kind of what we're finding right across the board with all the English beers. If you drink an American IPA versus their IPA, it's just a little bit more subdued.
Right,
Our pale ales are a little bit more hopped up. There's a little bit more subdued.
right,
So,
right.
okay. This is the Hobgoblin IPA. So this is the IPA that we picked for you.
This guy's gonna come in at 5.6 ABV.
It's on a little on the low side for an American IPA, comparatively. You know, most of the American IPAs are in the 6, 7,
Right.
even higher sometimes.
This is pretty good.
Has a nice nose to
Yeah,
it. Real
yeah.
nice citrus floral.
Yeah, you get the floral on the nose. Yeah, it's pretty strong.
Yeah. That was a nice IPA across the board.
Yeah, very good, very good. I'd have that again.
All right, next is the Wells Banana Bread. Definitely smells of banana.
Yeah, there's a lot of banana in that.
Yeah. This is a great beer to kind of get one of when you have a group of people over
One and
and everybody
done.
get to try some. Because you're not going to want to buy a case of this. At least I wouldn't.
No,
I mean,
but-
it's just way too sweet.
If you like bananas, man, there's a lot of banana in that
There's
finish.
A lot of banana.
Oh, the finish is real strong with that
Yeah.
banana taste.
Maybe
Real
serve it over
strong.
some like vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, this
Banana
was yeah,
split.
this is our dessert beer for, you know, out of these beers, this one's the dessert beer.
No question. No question. And then last is Samuel Smith's, which is another American staple of what we think English beers are.
Right.
And I didn't find any anywhere. And I mean, Samuel Smith's has been coming to America in 30, 40 years at least. This used to be like the high-end, you know, if you wanted a beer before all the microbrews and you wanted a high-end beer, Samuel Smith's was your beer. This is their oatmeal stout.
It's good.
Nice, the oatmeal curbs it off nicely.
Yeah. There's a nice dry finish to this beer too. I like.
It's a really good,
It's a good stout.
and it does remind me of the whole Guinness thing, because it is a similar. Guinness is not a strong, heavy Russian Imperial Stout where it just kind of hits you over the head, and this
Right.
kind of follows along with that. It's
Yeah.
nice, easy drinking.
Yeah, this is as far as stouts go. It's
Yeah.
not real thick.
No,
Well, I won't say no to that beer though. It's very good.
all good beers, and like I said, we have the British Invasion on now, so you could come down, try them out. Like I said, this was my favorite. The
That was
ESB.
good. Yeah, that was
I
really
really
good.
enjoyed that. It's something a little bit different, not a style that you would normally have in the Americas.
Well, I gotta go with the
Your IPA?
Hobgoblin. Yeah, yeah, I'd have to go with that. That was a really good IPA. I'm surprised because everything here has been kind of subdued
Yeah.
as far as like their American counterparts. But that one was a pretty solid IPA. I would definitely have that again. I'd have all these again. There wasn't a bad beer in the bunch,
No,
really.
no.
You know, and remember, guys, I don't like every beer we try. I've showed that before, but these, I'm pretty comfortable saying all of them were really good.
Yeah, I'd take any of these home on any given day.
Absolutely. When we come back, we're going to hit a road stop, so don't go away. There is more wine, hops, and road stops when we come back. Welcome back to Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. And you may have noticed, we're wearing different clothes compared to the last segment.
Wardrobe change.
Yeah,
that's all. Yeah.
Wardrobe change, yeah. Really what happened was this episode we just shot, right after we started airing it, Evans Roadhouse, which was our road stop for that segment, they had a fire in their kitchen, and can't really show you the story that we have on them, so we're saving that for a later date. Thank God that everyone got out safe, wasn't a total loss, and best wishes to Crystal and the staff. Get that place back up and running as soon as you can.
Yeah, that's been a staple in the area for a couple of decades. So yeah, we wish them the best.
Yeah, absolutely. So on a later episode, we'll be back to Evans Roadhouse as soon as they reopen. So we got some extra time on the show. Let's talk about what else you've got here that we haven't really covered in any of the episodes so far.
Okay. All right. Well, one of the things that we have that most other people don't have, everybody has the wines. We have the Kalitos wine,
Okay.
which is basically means, I believe, 3 butts. It's a very popular, particularly with the Dominican population. It's a sweet red, and the whites are very sweet as well. And that just tends to, the sweet wines tend to be that Caribbean style of wine.
Another wine to sit back and sip on a nice warm day.
Yep. And also a lot of the barefoot wines. That's probably the biggest mover, right now is the barefoots. They've taken over leaps and bounds. They've lowered their price in a lot of their bottles. So it's for a double bottle, you're getting like $13, $14 for a double bottle.
And you also have a nice line of slushies too, I see over there.
It's summertime, so frozen slushies with alcohol. How could you beat that?
Go right down the line to a little
Go
bit.
right down the line. Yep, a little of this. My personal favorite is a half pina colada, half strawberry daiquiri. I call it a Miami Vice from back in the Don Johnson days.
Nice.
Yep,
okay.
that was supposedly his drink when he lived in Florida. And they just kind of continued it.
All right, okay. And also, you have your domestics, you got your imports, you got your micro beers, you got a huge selection here. And also you got the big cans. People like the big cans, the big pounder cans too.
Those guys. Yep, and as you can see, our table is always just a wall of 15-pack Bud, Miller Lite, and Coors.
Nothing wrong with liking the domestics.
No, but actually, they're on sale for the summer at $11.50 for a 15-pack, including tax, which is $2 off the normal price. So that's a great deal, and we're able to secure a discount on and pass it on.
And you also bring from your own cellar sometimes things that you age, stuff that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
Unique beers.
Yeah, usually the aged stuff I keep that beers that are aged well, I keep in my cellar for about 2 to 3 years. And then we bring them back out for sale. Same prices, same price tag that we had 2 or 3 years ago. So we don't really upcharge for anything on that.
But it's nice to get yourself a nice aged beer.
It's nice to be able to kind of get that. And again, that's something that you're just not going to find anywhere else because most people don't have 500 cases of beer aging in their cellar.
No.
God forbid I have a fire. Save the beer.
I'll be over. And you do some glassware too.
Yeah, but especially around the holidays, mostly, you do the gift packs, the Chimay gift packs, Omegang, Allagash, a lot of the Fermoise. They have the little tulip glasses for the specialty beers, and Budweiser ceramic mugs and Miller ceramic mugs, all that kind of fun stuff. We bring out a whole bunch of tap handles for sale at the holidays usually. Yeah. So if you need a tap handle, we've got, baskets and baskets from them.
Do you like what we're doing here? Wine, Hops, and Road Stops on Facebook. Find us, facebook.com/Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. That's anything you want. We'll be right back with more Wine, Hops, and Road Stops right after these messages. Don't go away.
Yep, we're going to change our clothes in at the commercial again.
We'll change our clothes then. And we'll be back. Welcome back to our final segment on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. Shout out location at the Beer Stop in West Hazelton. If you like what we do here, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. Talk to us. Tell us what you want us to talk about, what beers you want us to review, any kind of other crazy stuff you want to talk about. Send it all there. Send it all there. Before we go, what do we have new here at the Beer Stop, besides the British invasion?
Well, we have the British invasion, and then also I kind of dug into my cellar a little bit. And I brought up a couple of beers that have been barrel aged. We have a Hop and Frog barrel aged, Dogfish 120, which we were just talking about.
That's right.
And also some Old Rasputin barrel aged. So these were difficult beers to come by normally. Now they've been aged in my basement for 3 or 4 years, so they're really nice and distinctive flavors will be coming out.
So all those beers are limited release.
Yes.
You take them, you age them, and they really turn into different beers, really. Especially, I know the Dogfish Head does, because I've had one, I've aged it for 4 years. It's a different beer when you try it after 3-4 years.
Yeah, absolutely. We did that with the pumpkin beers, with the Pumpkin. We had this year's and last year's. And just in 1 year of aging, it's amazing that, the subtle differences between the beer.
Now, if you want to age your beer at home, how would you go about doing that?
In your basement, out of sunlight. Sunlight's the number one thing that's going to hurt your beer, not necessarily temperature abuse. Now, if you bring it up to 100 degrees in your basement in the summertime, you're in trouble. So if you can keep it just like almost like a wine in that 40 to 55 degrees, if it gets a little 60 degrees for a little bit, that's not too bad. But really 40 to 55 degrees.
What types of beers age the best?
The higher the alcohol, the better it will age.
Okay.
That's the easy one. The other easy one is if it says bottle conditioned on the bottle, that means you can age it as well. So when you're talking your barrel aged stouts, they're usually in the 9, 10, 12, 14, 16 percent alcohol. They age fantastic.